15.
It's the 7th Australian Open for Iga Swiatek. As I mentioned, her best result, semi-final in 2022, where you might remember she was beaten by Danielle Collins.
I remember this match very well.
Fantastic run that year. Collins going on to lose to Ash Barty in the final. But third round last year, lost to Noskova. And fourth round in 2023 for Swiatek. She'll certainly have ambitions of going further than that this year, and that's a good start. She's got herself up and running here.
Yeah, very good start. And you see already the slightly changed service motion. They are working on making it more fluid with Wim Fissette. If you remember from last year, she took the racket up straight away, waited there until the ball toss happened. Here we have him. Wim in the back is Daria Abramovic, her mental coach, and she was not there at the United Cup, which I thought was a nice choice for them, because Wim and Iga, as I said, were chatting the entire time, always sitting together, talking about tennis, and I think it was a great time for them to get to know each other in this competitive situation where you have the coach on your bench at United Cup and can talk things through.
Katerina Siniakova.
Swiatek on the board, and as umpire Julie Kienle confirms, Siniakova to serve here. Anyone tuning in for the first time to this year's Australian Open might notice the coaches' corners, the coaches' boxes, if you like. They've been brought very much court side on the main three courts, Rod Laver, Margaret Court, and here on John Cain. A mistimed forehand there from Swiatek. You mentioned the serve, Andrea. A bit of work on the forehand as well.
Exactly, yeah. That was the other thing that you could see right away at United Cup. Tries to rotate back right away rather than go up with her racket and her elbow. And that gives her a bit more time on that side. Did really well against Katie Bolter and Elena Rybakina, two big hitters, which she traditionally doesn't like to play so much. But won both those matches, you know, hardly fought battles, and she did very well there.
Yeah, 4 wins for Swiatek at the United Cup. 3 of them very good wins, in fact, over Bolter, Mukova and Rybakina.
There was some tough draws on the women's side at United Cup.
14-15.
Some good pace on the Siniakova first serve. She's 5'9". Definitely one of the strengths she'll bring to the court. And the backhand is another one. That's a beauty there.
That is her weapon of choice, both in singles and doubles. You can see her moving out of the way of the forehand here, which usually players opt to use their forehand from the center of the court. Not so much Siniakova, who has one of the best backhands on the women's side. Nice, simple technique, moves through the ball with her entire body weight. Gets really good pace on it. Has added that serve on the second. Iga Swiatek, that slice used to only go for the kick and became a bit predictable, but has changed that in recent times.
Quality tennis from Swiatek. Tail end of last year, we mentioned, added Wim Fizet to her team as the coach, having split with Thomas Wiktorowski. Been with her for 3 or so years, since 2021. Fizet with an incredible resume, really, with a number of top players, including Naomi Osaka, who picked up the title here a couple of times. And he'll be happy with the forehand that he's been working on there. High quality tennis from both players early on here. And we're going with serve so far.
Swiatek leads 3 games to 1 for
moves ahead 2-1.
Well, and here we have the improved serve, and Wim Fizet was very clear about this only being a stepping stone. They want to make it even more fluid, and you can see her here just going a bit more in a fluid motion back, whereas it's still a little disjointed, right? Ideally, you would want both arms to go at the same time, so there is still some work to be done. But nice trophy position here, gets nice up and high, great jump. This is one of her strengths, her footwork. Right away, the dynamic steps and adjustments, and then here's the forehand. Just a small take back now, and the big spin is still there. Just fantastic technique, really, all around.
Plenty of smiles here at the Happy Slam, day 2 from Melbourne Park. We are basking in the Melbourne sunshine. And it's been a good start to this one so far.
Loves the tee serve, Siniakova, but it's really hard to read because she kind of tosses the ball as if she was going for the slice serve.
It's a 9-time Grand Slam champion in women's doubles. I had to double check that when I saw it.
Yes.
Including 2 here at the Australian Open 2022 and 23. with her compatriot Barbara Krejcikova. The pair also won the Olympic gold medal in Tokyo. So she is a decorated player, albeit not necessarily in singles, but a reminder, 5 tour titles in singles, so she knows what she's doing.
Fault.
Yeah, it's too good from Swiatek.
15.
Yeah, 3 years in a row, Iga Swiatek has led second serve return points won because of her aggressive stance and also how she plays the next ball. Never lets go. Now it's a battle between her and Sabalenka, who has improved in that regard.
Fault.
But you do not want to use too many second serves against Iga.
It's a potential battle for the world #1 position between those two, and indeed Coco Gauff in with a chance here. We have those 3 players with the potential to finish this Australian Open as the world #1. Swiatek would need it. Relatively early losses, I think, from Sabalenka and Gauff. Oh, that's beautiful. From Siniakova.
Yeah, very nicely done. The forehand side is the one that can break down under pressure. But when she has a bit of time and can lean on it, still a dangerous shot, as you can see here. Great change of direction.
And there's the doubles prize coming to the fore. Some tidy work at the net. Siniakova levels us up here.
2 games all. First set.
The early evidence is just as we thought, Andrea. It's certainly been competitive so far. Siniakova not afraid of this challenge.
Yeah, she has beaten #1 at a Grand Slam tournament before, Naomi Osaka on clay. Okay, not Naomi's favorite surface, the clay courts. We will give her that, but still, it's a big win. Nice.
15.
Oh, too good.
15.
Not letting Swiatek have this all her own way by any means.
And that's why they have been making these adjustments on serve for Iga Swiatek, to have more free points, to help herself out in those tough, crucial moments. Gets the ace here.
Fault.
The quality just keeps on coming.
Yes, absolutely. And you could see a bit of a exasperated look on Iga Swiatek's face, and this is Siniakova at her very best. As I said, the forehand usually tends to break down, but no sign of that happening today. So she's playing at the very top of her game.
Yeah, it's another big first serve for Swiatek. The work she's done with her new coach, Wim Fizet. Certainly looking good so far. 10 of 13 first serves have found the target. Well, I thought about playing it, and in the end made the right decision just to let it go long. High quality 5 games here on John Cain Arena. And it's competitive stuff. Well, number 50, Siniakova, 2-3.
And Swiatek still looking for the ideal return position, especially on second serve. And you can see Siniakova's second serve speed is very high, over 150 Ks per hour. She's risking a lot on these second serves, knowing how well Swiatek returns.
And there is the risk-reward scenario for Siniakova, and that's her coaching box.
Empty, huh?
It certainly is. Her coach, Peter Hubert, will try and locate him, but he's certainly not in there.
No.
Coaches have the option. And I guess ultimately the players have the option whether to have their coach there or not.
Yeah.
I think most seem keen so far to get as close to the court as they can. Of course, coaching allowed now, so they can pass on some information and support.
Again, that run around the forehand to play a backhand.
Well, it's certainly working so far.
Yeah, very well, working very well. And I spoke to Darren Cahill, actually, Jannik Sinner's coach, and he said they will prefer to sit in the stands just because of the view. He says the aerial view is better for strategic purposes rather than to sit on the court. which I can understand. You get a better
30.
sense of where the ball is placed.
And also a player like Sinner and with his coach, maybe not too much engagement, trying to get on with things. Bit of pressure here for Siniakova. First break point of the match. And that's all Iga Swiatek needs. Works the point onto the Czech's forehand, gets the error she was looking for. And starts to put a bit of breathing space between the two.
And this is a perfect example of what we say, what we mean when we say, oh, have we found the box of Siniakova here? Possibly. Possibly.
I don't see her coach Peter Huber in there. Certainly some accreditations though. We'll
Yeah.
keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Fault.
But just to finish my thought, this is exactly what we mean when we say somebody has a weakness, and I'm making quote-unquote marks, even though nobody can see me in the commentator's booth doing that. It doesn't mean that her forehand is bad. It's still better than 90% of these people in the world. But against the best in the world, it will break down probably in important situations, as we saw here on break point.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? And so often it's the reliability of the shot, isn't it? As you say, under pressure. We've seen some forehand winners.
Exactly.
But when the moment came, the break point, it let her down.
Yeah. And I think we hold these players to a very high standard, so that's always something to keep in the back of everyone's mind.
Tried the change-up. Wasn't far from making it.
14.
Just in danger. Siniakova of losing away here slightly. Swiatek keeping the quality very high. That's what she does, isn't it? So intense.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of Steffi Graf, actually, in that regard, that intensity. It feels like, are you a football fan, soccer fan?
Yes.
So it feels like, you know, the Guardiola invented this high pressing situation where they will choke you almost with a high defending position until you make a mistake. That's how it feels playing Iga, and I've practiced so many times with her. You will play well until a certain point, and eventually you just start making judgment errors, mistakes that you normally won't do, and it is that intensity and pressure that she puts on you, point in, point out. And that's why I really love watching her play in her game.
Andrea Petkovic, the soccer tactician.
Expert.
I like the analogy, very nice.
To be fair, I don't know nothing about it, but I read a thing about Guardiola's pressing and it made me think of Iga Swiatek right away. That's why I bring it up, because that's how it feels playing her.
Well, the forehand fires this time, and 4-2-40 love becomes juice. Just a potentially sticky situation here for Swiatek.
Just dropped one a little short there, and Siniakova went for it, but another quality baseline rally between the two for a first round encounter where everyone is nervous. This is some good quality here.
Advantage Swiatek. Fault.
Maybe not by much, but the electronic line calling making the call. Yeah, just missing. Swiatek still looking to consolidate the break here.
Advantage Siniakova.
It's another close call, but this time Siniakova finds the baseline. And this was looking like a very straightforward game here for Swiatek. Remember, led 40-love. Now finds herself facing her first break point of the day.
Yeah, just staring down that baseline. The lines are very slippery here. When you catch it, it can slide through. And that's the smart way to go. In an important moment, go to the weaker of the two shots. Iga showing off her tennis IQ, gets the unforced error.
Again, Swiatek just drops the ball a little short. And Siniakova doesn't need a second invitation to step up. It's already 7 winners from the baseline the Czech has hit. That is brilliant. And the world number 50 from Czechia, Katerina Siniakova, giving us some problems here.
Love it. 15.
Yeah, and I think that's a good play. I think she should try and go for that side now with returns, because you can see whenever Siniakova gets a good serve in and gets to use her backhand, Swiatek is in trouble right away.
It just felt like a bit more speed on the ball there from Swiatek as well. New balls in play here. Again, that tactic pays dividends. We had 5 solid holds of serve to start this contest. Swiatek now with 2 chances for our 3rd straight break. And there is the break. It's what champions do. No sign of any disappointment from the previous game. Again, she's got herself in front here. New coach Wim Fizet there, the white t-shirt.
I see some positive nodding.
Yeah, it seemed like some tactical input there.
Maybe a few tips on where to serve, because she did have that 40-love lead and then lost the service game.
Bit of time on that forehand and make very good use of it. Incidentally, with Wim Fizet, it's the first non-Polish coach of Swiatek's career. Just a different dynamic, isn't it? You know, communicating in English. Maybe a different view or perspective on the game.
And the first serve percentage just dropped a bit here for Iga. But gets one when she needs one. Well done. That is the thing with this higher kilometers per hour count that she gets on her serve. She also takes more risks on it. So she will have phases. And I was at United Cup too, where she has games, doesn't make enough first serves, and here we have a ball kid struggling with something.
There's a feather
Oh,
floating onto the court. Swiatek's feet as light as a feather as she skips round another forehand.
beautiful segue, Colin.
Thank you. Try my best. It's been a quality first set, a competitive one. Swiatek here with a chance to close it out. Yeah, that's another nice forehand that does the job.
First set by 6 games to 3.
Polish fans celebrate, and Swiatek got herself up and running here on Cain Arena. Takes the first set, 6-3.
If she wasn't so good and had to stay at every tournament until the end.
Well, it's a good point you make, because let's say she focused more on singles, got inside the top 32 in the world to be seeded here.
Yeah.
Then you're not playing the second seed in the first round.
Exactly.
It can snowball.
It's a tough ask. We saw it with players like Coco Gauff, Arina Sabalenka, who were fantastic doubles players at the beginning of their career, and then sort of put that aside to focus more on the singles. Barbora Krejcikova has made that move recently a bit more as well. Honestly, I wouldn't know what I would do. Thank God I was never in the position, because I didn't know how to play doubles to save my life.
Come on, let's hear it. You're the new coach of Katerina Siniakova. She's got 9 Grand Slam doubles titles already. Do you say keep going as you are, or do you say, okay, you're 28, let's have a few years of prioritizing singles?
I think I might do that, yeah. Because I really see a lot of potential in her as a singles player. She moves well, returns well, good serve. It would need a bit of technical work on the serve and the forehand side, but nothing that she wouldn't be able to do.
I can tell you're a singles player at heart.
Yes, I'd say why not?
You're not a team player, Andrea.
I'm not a team player. And then once she's 30, 31, she can still have another 5-6 years of fantastic doubles.
And you can still play the slams and doubles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe just not be world #1 for a couple of years. Anyway.
It's tough.
Iga Swiatek has been the world #1 in singles for, well, the best part of 3 seasons. Been knocked off that perch of late. One of the keys to getting back there has to be improving again on the hard courts, you would think.
On the quicker hard courts, particularly. She does very well on the slower hard courts. If we think of Indian Wells, where she's won multiple times, Doha, she's won multiple times. Those are all slower hard courts that have a gritty feel to them, make the ball jump. And I think the adjustment she's making with the serve and the quicker rotation on the forehand are all leading towards being able to play better on the quicker hard courts as well.
And we'd count these as quicker hard courts.
I would say so, yeah.
Well, a good second serve, but an awkward return from Swiatek, proving too much.
First game, second set.
She's got herself a break of serve to start this second set. Just feels now that she's really got this match where she wants it. In fact, the only game she's lost was serving at 4-2, where she led 40-love. That's since getting the initial break. Chance for Swiatek to move through the gears, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the trouble with these top players. They are just such great front runners. Although here at the Australian Open, Iga Swiatek had traditionally trouble closing out those first set leads, but just in generally, they just swing freer, they move freer, and they become better and better the more they lead.
15.
And here we have it, Cain. Both really good ball strikers, but you see the big difference in the rotation per minute. Iga Swiatek very high up on the topspin rate with 2,406. Gives you the ability to pull off angles like this. Yes, it clipped the net a bit, but it was still unplayable. And we had Paula Badosa on here yesterday, who also has a heavy forehand, and she was at around 2,300. So it just gives you an idea of how heavy these forehands are. Iga Swiatek gets even more out of that wing.
Well, there's the topspin again, breaking the angle. And the work she's doing on the forehand with Coach Fizet, obviously beautifully illustrating the benefits of the spin rate there. Is it more the reliability of the shot? Is it the ability to create power? What, when the changes are being made, it's why is the question.
Yeah, nicely done.
Okay,
To me, Iga's forehand is her biggest weapon. But traditionally, she's had trouble when somebody can pound it over and over again with very flat, deep ground strokes. Oh, we wish we had microphones, right? So we could just be little spies there.
I think it'll be pretty positive feedback after that game.
Yeah.
Keep doing that.
So I think he will just want to sort of erase that vulnerability when she plays those big hitting women like Aryna Sabalenka or Elena Rybakina or last year Linda Noskova, with keeping that spin rate and that heaviness that she has to her forehand. And because she is so talented, I think they know as a team that she can do that and that she can pull it off. And I think that's just the next step in her development.
Well, that's big tennis in what feels like a big game for Siniakova. Match starting to slip away for her. Needs to hold serve here.
Fifteen. Hold. 13.
Second double fault for Siniakova. Doesn't want to put too much pressure on herself. Swiatek's doing a good enough job of it. Again, the forehand just breaks down, drifts long. You just feel as if the will is close to being broken here. Chance for Iga Swiatek to really cut Siniakova loose. Very nearly got there. And it's a big slice of luck. It just keeps the Czech player in this game.
Well, in Germany, we have a saying that luck is on the side of the disciplined. So the harder you work, the more luck you get.
I like
would
that.
translate it into the English language. That is so foreign to me.
Fortune favours the brave is another one.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And I guess she went for the forehand, so.
Advantage Siniakova.
Did well just to put the brakes on there, not run into the net, which would have lost her the point.
And that is again that heaviness, right? If she had just hit it flat, that forehand, Siniakova might have gotten to it, but it just gets away. It just feels like you're chasing the ball and it gets away from you the more you chase it. That's what spin does to these ground strokes. Tough as an opponent to read it and get behind it in time.
Advantage Siniakova.
Oh, yes.
Beauty.
Just clips the line. And that is a great moment and a really gutsy hold of serve. Well played, Katerina Siniakova. 2-1 Swiatek, second set. Thought she'd missed this backhand, Siniakova, but no call came. Let's have another look.
This was already great defending. That was a tough shot. And then take a look. Well, look, she takes her racket back so early that once she is in time, she still has time to fully swing through it. That's not easy to do. Great.
Plenty of support around the world for Iga Swiatek. She'll certainly be grateful for it at this stage of her career after all she's been through in the previous few months. Things going well for her so far here. Leads by a set and a break.
Oh, wow. Seems to have a bit of a cuff, Katerina. She almost seems better on the run because she has more space on her ground strokes. It feels like when she gets it into herself, she sometimes doesn't create enough space. That's where the misses seem to come from.
15-13.
Is annoyed with herself here. Iga Swiatek doesn't miss too many of the passing shots. Loves to have a target at the net.
Oh, that is brilliant.
15-14.
And I think we're just seeing the importance here of the previous game. Felt like that Siniakova head, was going down slightly, but she dug in. She showed a lot of fight and a couple of chances here to get right back into this. Oh, she's found another winner. She's got fire here.
Yeah, very, very good stretch of play for Katerina Siniakova here. And I think sometimes as an opponent, as Iga Swiatek in this moment, you just have to cut your losses and accept that the opponent played 2 brilliant games. Yes, she's had a couple of opportunities at 2-0 to go up a double break, but this was just a brilliantly contested game from Siniakova. And you just have to continue doing what you do and see whether she can keep up this level for an entire set.
Let first.
Oh, can't stop hitting winners.
Yes.
It's 8 now in this second set for the Czech.
And this is actually a great test for Iga Swiatek, who in the past, especially last year where things were not going perfectly well for her, used to get very anxious in these situations when her opponents would have these stretches of fantastic play. And Wim Fissette talked about it at United Cup, that he wanted to have her understand that she can just, with a good game, keep in this moment until the other one sort of breaks down to a normal level again. Whereas before, she would panic and try to go for more and help the opponent with unforced errors of her own. So this is a fantastic test for her to put this strategy from her coach to use.
Yes, trying to find that sort of perfect state, isn't it, of being intense without being tense.
Mm-hmm. That's
She
so
is
hard to do.
a very intense player,
Yeah.
isn't she, mentally and physically, but try and stay relaxed in these moments when your opponent's coming back at you, as you say. Yeah, and that is a magnificent serve. It swings away into the corner. And that's 3 games in a row for the unseeded player.
Siniakova, 3 games to 2.
He's putting a halt on Swiatek's progress here. Been some positives for Swiatek, definitely, but I think we've also seen maybe a few of the reasons why these quicker hard courts are a challenge for her, especially against a player like Siniakova, hitting hard and flat and going for her shots. A fascinating contest so far.
Yeah, she really had this, I have to say, bad luck at the Australian Open to draw these type of players that don't suit her very well. If you think about it, last year, Collins in the second round, Noskova in the third round. Now Siniakova, who has a similar type of game, very flat. We showed the trajectory of the two balls earlier, very flat ground strokes.
Melbourne Park. That is the Kia Arena in the foreground. And then our current home, the Cain Arena. Of course, it's a huge sporting precinct here in Melbourne. And as we said, plenty of Polish support for Iga Swiatek. Katerina Siniakova is playing a much higher level than 50 in the world right now.
A much higher level.
It just feels like she got to a set and 2-love down and almost said, well, I've kind of already lost. This is getting away from it. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. And she hasn't missed the ball, I think, in 3-4 games now. 3 games at least. Well, this one goes wide. At least this one, I think Iga Swiatek is thinking, because she's been hammered from the other side for the past few games here. Very nice hands here, showed some great skill in the mixed doubles at United Cup. Iga Swiatek a few times was the best player on court.
Beautifully constructed point.
Fault.
Poland with that run in the United Cup, eventually halted by the winners, the United States. A little bit made of the handshake between Swiatek and Coco Gauff at the end. Gauff getting the better of her for the second straight time, having won at the WTA finals. But I think they've cleared the air. It was just disappointment, nothing personal. Swiatek was asked pre-tournament about how the reaction has been in the locker room, you know, to the news or to her, you know, doping case, her ban, and she said she'd actually felt quite supported by a number of players.
Well, I think with her it was a quite straightforward case with a contamination of a prescribed medication. It's different than when you buy things at a chemist, for example. There are different rules. The contamination was a grain of salt in an Olympic swimming pool. That was the amount found. So I think many players have that fear that they take something, some supplement that is contaminated.
Yeah, that was struck with real authority.
And I like the last two forehands. She put a bit more trajectory on it and was able to push Siniakova back behind the baseline before going for a flatter shot. Here again. Yeah, that's beautifully played. Might have gotten a bit too much into the flat striking before, and that's why Siniakova was playing so well.
Yeah, it just feels like she's flicked the turbo switch here, Swiatek.
Yeah, you can see how she gets nice under the ball and up above. To have that forehand, Colin, huh? You and me could never.
If only. And the backhand, and the serve, and the movement.
And the mental strength.
Where do we stop?
15-30.
Just pushes it wide. Again, the progress halted. Few slightly anxious looks on the faces of Swiatek's team. Big point here, 3-all, 30-all. And a big serve delivered by Siniakova.
Fault.
And again, that slightly different trajectory. I really think that's what she should continue to do until the end of the match, because clearly Siniakova here is feeling her ground strokes very well, is playing very well, and Iga needs to try and keep it out of her strike zone now.
That's the forehand that let her down in the latter stages of the opening set. History potentially repeating itself here. Yeah, 3 forehands missed in a row. And Swiatek has once more got the break here. Just a couple of
Jannik
games
leads
now away
4
from
games
round
to
2.
3, second set, and by 1 set to 0.
It's frustrating from Siniakova's point of view, isn't it? Disheartening.
Yeah.
The same thing happens again.
Yeah, and especially when you are feeling like you're playing your best tennis for stretches of the game, and still somehow she never was able, and that's such a strength from these top players, not only Iga Swiatek, all of them. Their strength when others have good stretches of play to just hang with them, be there. Don't have a 4-1 down, but be at a 2-all, be at a 3-all. And then when the play drops, they are there and they take the opportunity. That's why it's so hard to beat them. You have to you have to make these stretches.
Well, the best part in an hour and a quarter of these two really going at it. Second seed Iga Swiatek has new balls in hand here, and she's serving a set and a break. 4-3 in the second.
Yeah, now that you mention it, all 3 top seeds on the women's side, really tough draws. 2 former Grand Slam champions. Sabalenka got Stevens, Goff got Cain. And Swiatek here, also a Grand Slam champion. Yes, in doubles, but a Grand Slam champion is a Grand Slam champion.
Sabalenka and Goff both able to advance. Swiatek looking like she'll be able to do the same here. This John Cain Arena will be getting plenty of attention later on this evening.
Oh, yes.
You would think this the second of 4 matches scheduled on here. 5 p.m. local time. We'll see Jess Pegula, the 7th seed, in action, and that will be followed by the return to the Australian Open of Nick Kyrgios, playing on his home here at Melbourne Park, the John Cain Arena. He's taking on my fellow Scot, Andrea.
I know.
Jacob Fernley.
Big fan of Jacob Fernley. I am. I will tell you so much. Saw him against Novak Djokovic in Wimbledon. Really liked him, so...
I thought you were just going to say you love the Scots.
I love the Scots.
That
Sorry,
as well.
I forgot to mention that.
Of course. No, that will be a great match. Not to mention the atmosphere and everything that will come with it. Anyway, back to this one. Serving to stay in it, Siniakova.
And that's the one thing I wish to see from Iga over the course of the season with Wim Fissette by her side. She sometimes becomes very stubborn on her return position, doesn't budge when she plays very good players.
Just the ability to go deeper sometimes.
Yes, she almost never does it, no matter how strong the servers are. And she did actually do that against Elena Rybakina at the United Cup and managed to get one of the few wins against her. So I'm thinking with Wim Fissette by her side, maybe she will be able to make that adjustment. Because she's such an aggressive returner, you don't want to take that away from her. But on first serve, sometimes the only goal is to neutralize the first serve somehow, whichever way you can.
Hmm. 30-15.
Brings out the slice forehand there, and it disrupts the rhythm of Swiatek.
Fault.
Risking a lot here on those second serves is Siniakova.
We've seen a number of those throughout the match. Again, Siniakova continues to fight. And after the break, Iga Swiatek will serve for this match. Completely agree with you, Andrea. A tough first round draw here. There are easier opponents for sure, but in terms of the seeds, probably a good draw for Swiatek, you'd have to say, with Sabalenka, Goff, Zheng, all in the top half.
I agree, yeah.
Nina Rybakina is in this bottom half. That's a potential match for Swiatek, as is Jasmine Paolini, the 4th seed.
It's just crazy to me that, again, she has big hitters on her way. If you think about...
Minutes on the match clock. Iga Swiatek here with an opportunity to put this one to bed. The recent work on the serve with new coach Wim Fizet paying off here. Focused on the task at hand. And that's what you love when you're trying to serve out a match. 3 quick points. And Swiatek now has 3 match points.
Thank you.
Iga Swiatek is up and running at the Australian Open. It's our first Grand Slam match since a turbulent end to 2024. And she's able to come through in straight sets and entertaining a high-quality first-round contest. But ultimately able to come through and prevail in the bigger moments and get the better here of Katerina Siniakova. Just over an hour and 20 minutes in the end. And Swiatek gets it done, 6-3, 6-4.
Yeah, very solid match against a very difficult opponent. And Katerina Siniakova should be very happy with her performance. I think she can build on this level of play that she showed at times. And Iga Swiatek's definitely arrived at the Australian Open after this hard-fought 2-set win.
Yeah, and good to see Siniakova taking the moment, sign a few autographs. She'll go away and focus on the doubles now. Part of the top-seeded team alongside Taylor Townsend. And I'm sure Iga Swiatek will be delighted to get this win under her belt. It wasn't easy. And probably not the best performance we've ever seen from her, but for a first round, there was signs of some real quality. And ultimately able to come through in the bigger moments, as so often the big players do.
Yeah, and I just love that she was able to maintain her levels of energy during those stretches of play when Siniakova really seemed to be hitting winners all over, remained fairly calm, and now we will hear from her and what she has to say about this whole endeavor.
Well, Iga, congratulations. We rarely see you actually here inside Cain Arena, but all the Polish fans that are here today absolutely love that one. Katerina showed some moments of brilliance throughout that entire match, so what did you make of your start to AO 2025?
Well, for sure it wasn't an easy first round, so I'm happy that I'm through. Yeah, Katerina, for sure, you know, I know her from playing doubles against her, so she's not an easy opponent. And yeah, I felt like, you know, she was playing really well, and I just needed to be more proactive when I wanted to. And at the end, in a second set, I did that, so I'm happy.
New to Australian Open 2025 are these player boxes on the court. Your coach was there, Wim for set. Do you like having Wim that close, or would you prefer him to stay a little bit further away?
No, I like it. I like when he's close. We had a nice, you know, practice kind of on United Cup because he was literally next to me on the bench and he had to coach me. So here it's a little bit different because obviously, he's not going to be able to say as many stuff as on United Cup, but I just knew what I had to do today, so I didn't feel like I needed the coaching, but for sure during the tournament there are going to be moments when I'm going to use that.
One of the most iconic sights in world tennis is when you walk onto the court wearing those headphones. What we want to know is what was in those headphones today. Is it meditation sounds, rock and roll music, perhaps Australian music?
No, I shouldn't meditate before the match. I would be like too soft and too nice. So rock music as usual, and these headphones are new. I got them for Christmas. They're kind of personalized, so I love them. And yeah, it was probably the best gift I got this year, so I'm happy.
And finally, Iga, what is your ultimate walkout song? Do you have a favorite song?
I love Pearl Jam, but now it's mostly AC/DC and what? And Led Zeppelin. But you know, the speaker at the beginning of the match said that I'm listening to rock all the time. It's not true. I wouldn't be able to sleep. So only before matches, but mostly it's just light pop or even some jazz. So you gotta update that. But Taylor Swift, the info about Taylor Swift was right.
Okay, we're going to blast some AC/DC in celebration for you. Moving through to round two, Iga Swiatek, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Nice interview there with Duncan McKenzie McCargan.